If you're wanting to get into IT help desk without previous experience and wondering how the best way to do it is, this video is for you. Nemesio was able to go from working at FedEx with no degree or any IT related experience and land his first IT help desk job within a month, and he did it without any certifications. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what he did to land his first help desk job and how you can do the same. And as a bonus, if you stick to the end of the video, he's going to share how he landed a cybersecurity role just 10 months after landing his first IT help desk job. Well, without further ado, let's get right into it. All right. How's it going, Nemesio? Thank you for taking the time to do this interview. Can you first start us off with how you first got into IT and what you did before getting into IT?
Yeah, no, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me, James. Yeah, so I got into IT actually when I right after I got injured from FedEx. So before I got into IT, I was working at FedEx. I did that for about 3.5 years as a FedEx driver, and I dislocated my shoulder 2 times. I don't know if I could show the scar, but definitely have some scars to show for it. And while I was on workers' comp, I was needing to find a new path and basically find a new career because the doctor told me you can't be doing manual labor anymore. You need to find something else. So my best friend had just taken an IT course. He kind of disappeared from me for a while, and like 2 months, and he comes back. He's got a $60,000 job at a bank, IT job, telling me all about it. And I'm like, IT? Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, bro, we play video games, where I knew about a router and a modem, just playing Xbox when I was younger. So, but he's like, we can get way more in depth with it and make a lot of money. And it took me a little bit. He told me actually before I got injured, but after I was injured, man, I had no other outlets to try to find a new path. That was the only that was the only hint I had. Okay, let me go try that. And I followed the course that he took, which was course careers, and I'm here now.
Wow, that's awesome. So before FedEx, you didn't have any sort of degree or any experience doing IT.
No, man, no, I'm a college dropout. I wanted to be, I wanted to be a bunch of things. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a plastic surgeon, and I wanted to be an electrician, and all sorts of different things I did. But I dropped out of college, got into sales. That didn't really work out. Made some money, but it wasn't my thing. COVID hit, and one of the only things I was able to get, excuse me, was a job with FedEx, and I had that for about 3.5 years. And there was no upward mobility. It was just there. I had no other skills, no IT skills, nothing that people would pay me money for. So the only thing I could do was drive a truck, man.
Yeah, so you did talk about your friend, talk about how he got into IT. So what ultimately made you decide that IT help desk was going to be your first IT position?
Yeah, man. So my friend, he's like an introvert kind of, and he's kind of may not seem like it, but I depending on my moods and stuff. Sometimes I can be an introvert. Sometimes depending on the environment. And I knew his personality and my personality are kind of similar. And so when I watched, he did an interview with the course instructor on the course instructor's YouTube channel, and it got like 15, 20,000 views. I remember like hearing him talk about it, and then I'm like, he sent me the link to the video. I went and watched the video, and I was like, oh, dude, like this is serious. Like the dude that was interviewing him, he wasn't like some genius, even though he is, but he comes off as like very chill, laid back, breaks down everything easily. And when he was speaking with my friend, I was like, oh, okay, like I have nothing to lose right now. I'm broke. I have no career. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna use a little bit of money that I have to invest in myself. And I was able to do the course in 2.5 weeks, and then I got a job 2 weeks after I finished. So yeah, it
Wow,
was cool.
that's awesome. That's amazing. So what
Appreciate
do
it.
you so now that you're in IT and you've done IT for a little bit, what do you think makes someone a good fit to get into IT?
Honestly, anybody can get into IT. It doesn't matter if don't know much about technology at all. It doesn't matter if you know a lot about technology. It just matters about um, how I guess how driven you are. Because in IT, there's a lot of self teaching and there's a lot of certifications. You don't have There's no internal board like you have to go get your bar exam to become a lawyer, and you have to do certain requirements. In IT, it's not like that. the companies like Facebook, Google, Netflix, Amazon, those companies, they actually don't, they don't, they don't require their employees, IT employees, software engineers, they don't require them to have college degrees. So a lot of these people don't have college degrees. These are, anybody can learn these skills. So when you are learning, building everything from the ground up, you can really take it anywhere as long as you're willing to put in that work and learn. As long as you're willing to hear things and then be willing to look those things up and trying to get an understanding. And if you want a steady career, you want to gain a skill, and you want to have knowledge that not a lot of people have, and some people might be intimidated of. I definitely think it's a career for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Learning's a big part of being in IT, being able to learn afterwards. A lot of people, when they get into IT or try to get into IT, they get their A plus and then they struggle to get a job. So how did you go from learning IT help desk to actually landing a job?
Yeah, man. So I was actually, at first I thought that was the route, was to try to learn and get the A plus and then go from there. The thing about it is the A plus is just one out of many certifications, and you can look at it as a knowledge checker. It's like a skill check in a video game for you to get further. But the thing is the A plus doesn't teach you anything. You have to teach everything by yourself, and then when you've taught everything, all you do is just have this one certification. Your resume is kind of bare. The reason that I decided to do course careers is because I understood how little experience I had, and I understood, okay, if I study for 4 months, I mean, there was a lot of material to study for the A plus, and then when you take the practice tests, if you're not doing good on those, it makes you like, oh, I'm going to study for another month. So you can really put it off. But for the
Nice.
course that I took, I knew I needed experience, and I saw the portfolio and the labs that were in the course, and my friend told me about them. So essentially, he was like, "You're going to be getting a certification while you're building experience, working with a ticketing system, working with Active Directory, working with virtual machines, different things that you will work with when you're in the IT field." But I already had my hands on the software, and I got to tinker in my own test environments. And I think with the A plus, you don't know what to look for. You don't even know about test environments. You're just really learning off of YouTube. Maybe you got a study guide, but when you go through like a course, like a program like this, where it actually holds your hand as you're building experience, you're going to see a large difference, especially when you start applying for jobs. Because I was getting, while studying for A plus, I wasn't getting any interview requests or any opportunities. But when I finished course careers, I mean, it was crazy. I was getting motion.
Yeah, I could definitely see how not going the A plus route, but rather doing the course careers route where you're doing labs, day-to-day IT help desk tasks can set you apart from the other million other applicants that are applying to all these jobs. So definitely see that. So I assume you don't have any other certifications other than the course careers one, at least before you got that job.
Yeah, before I got my first job, I didn't have any other certifications. After I got the first job, I took the Google cybersecurity certification. Definitely, if anybody's like, I've had people ask me, "Oh, should I do the Google? Like, which one should I do first?" And I always recommend you do the course careers first, because it will build you that hands-on, like we said, experience with these software, as well as giving you the entrance into the IT theory that's needed. So that will allow you to get the job. You don't need to focus too much, too broad. After you get a job, then you can start focusing maybe on the Google IT professional course, maybe the cyber course. I was in my IT job, and anytime I had free time, I was taking the Google course and just supplementing everything I learned from course careers with that. And those are the only two certs I have, and now I'm in cybersecurity now.
Yeah, I definitely agree about the Google certification. I personally took the IT professional one as one of my first ones. It was packed with so much content, like I think around 40 hours of content. Took me a long time to complete, and by the time I was done, it's kind of like went in one ear, went out the other. So it's kind of that kind of certification. So after you graduated the course career certification, how long did it actually take you to land your IT help desk job?
It took me 2 weeks. So the way that I treated it is, I was on workers' comp, I was injured, and I didn't have a job, unemployed. So I was studying for the first 2.5 weeks to complete the course, about 5 hours a day. Monday through Friday, took the weekends off. So I treated it almost like, a part-time, full-time job. Maybe sometimes I would go longer. And then right when I finished it, I treated applying for jobs the same way. So I was sat at home for 4 to 5 hours a day for 2 weeks, and I applied and applied and applied. And then I just marked and did a little spreadsheet on everything I applied for just to like motivate my spirit. So after I said, oh, I applied for 80 jobs, in these couple of days, I felt like I was doing something. Oh, I applied for 150, and I applied for a lot of jobs. It helps to live in a bigger area,
Yeah.
and to have. I live in Orlando, Florida, so I'm trying to help my brother get a job. He lives in where I'm from, Little Spokane, Washington. There's like 50 job postings for like the last 3 months, but in Orlando, there's like 3,000. So it's a numbers game. You got to definitely be willing to maybe relocate because if you're gonna get a new skill, get a new career, maybe it's time for a new location to live in. So it doesn't take long to find a job, but you really have to apply yourself. You can't apply to 20 jobs, even can't apply to 50 jobs. You have to really be putting the time, putting those applications in.
Yeah. That's the same type of advice I give other people. Apply as much as you can. I saw you talked about the spreadsheets. That's something that the course career certification actually goes through and talks about. Do you think you could have
Exactly.
done it without course careers?
No. I well, let me rephrase that. Could I have done it? Yes. Could I try? Could I run in the Olympics if I trained for 20 hours a day for the? You know what I'm saying? Is it possible to get on YouTube and learn things on YouTube and spend a year? But like you said earlier, sometimes the things you learn in the beginning go one year and then you start forgetting it. It's really important to kind of structure yourself in like a regimented, like not like a sprint, not like you're cramming, but in a good 1 to 2 months, really focus, and that will help you be able to kind of remember everything, and that'll kind of help you when you are on the job interviews, um, be able to just be fluent in everything that you're speaking, and then apply for a lot of jobs too.
Yeah, awesome. So you did course careers, you applied for jobs, you did the interview, got the job. So how much can you expect for someone to make getting into IT their first year? How much would you say people make in their first year in IT?
Yeah, so I can let you know what I make and what I made in my first year. I went from FedEx making 35,000 to making 42,000 at a Disney contract, and that is probably the low end of what you're going to start in. You would start between 40 and 60K, and I wouldn't settle for anything below 40 unless you really like. It's like you really want to get that experience, get your foot in the door, but you can still get your experience, get your foot in the door for $20 an hour or higher. My current position, I'm making close to 60,000 with my bonuses, and I worked in my first IT position for 10 months, and I've been in this position for 1 month. So I'm in 11 months of IT, and I'm about to breach 60,000, which is about right.
Hmm.
First year entry level 40 to 60, and then next year, I'll be getting there's a $10,000 retention bonus for staying in the company, and then you still get your quarterly bonuses. Plus, I think you're eligible for raises every 6 months. It's great benefits, great promotion structure. So definitely well compensated, more compensated than I have been before. And it's only going to get up from here.
That's quite honestly wild to hear your story from a year ago, just about having, an injury, not having a job, to then taking the course, getting in IT, and now you're in a different role. So moving on from help desk after 10 months, what role are you in now? And can you share what you do in that role?
Yeah. So my first position was kind of a help desk. It was like a help desk hybrid. I also was out there walking. It was Disney roles. So think about basically an IT guy that checks on issues in the park and reports it back to the teams. That's kind of what I was doing, and also fixing things. But I also dealt with the ticketing system. My current position is a remote monitoring and management engineer. Deals with an RMM software, and you can think of it as like, I'll try to explain it to people, is if you ever got on a scam call and someone had you click a link or something, they most likely downloaded a monitoring agent on your device. And so with that, they can remote into your device. They can run, audits, and they can get reports and really see everything you're doing on that device. Well, that's what I do, but with companies, and I help MSPs basically monitor all their clients using a remote monitoring software. Super cool. Kind of don't want to say too much, but the companies I get to see and the computers that we kind of have access, quote unquote. I mean, you get in trouble, but you could remote into some pretty crazy people computers. It's just it's crazy to have that ability, crazy to have that skill, and it's right in here entering cybersecurity, dealing with AVs and dealing with endpoint detection and response, and as people get more into IT, these will all sound like things that they know, and it'll be easy peasy. But when you first get in, it might sound crazy. Don't worry, because it would have sounded crazy to me. But I've only been in for 11 months, so
Yeah, that's awesome to hear the details of that. And quite honestly, your story is pretty inspirational. I'm sure people watching this are going to be inspired by you. But is there any last piece of advice that you'd give to people trying to get into IT help desk?
yeah. So the biggest advice that I'd give is to be persistent and to not get down on yourself. It's very easy to get burnt out while applying for jobs, especially in this job market. You have to think that when I was applying for this current position that I'm in, I was on a contract, and I had 10 months or 12 months to complete that, before that contract was over. And I felt like it was like a noose. And at that 12 months, I'm jobless. So I was really stressing about getting my next job. And at one point, I burnt myself out. Well, I already had a job, but I'm stressing about the next job. And it can be that way if you're jobless and you're really stressing about getting a job and you're trying to apply for too many jobs, and you're trying to study all this material, you're trying to have the best resume. Don't burn yourself out. Make sure that you're steady paced and consistent, and you have to be about this for life. If you're interested in making this your career, then it's always going to be learning and growing. So don't think that I'm just need to learn a little bit and then I'm done, but get used to the lifestyle of learning and earning, because that's the way I look at it. The more that I learn, the more that I earn, and it's all up to me. So I don't want to get burnt out and get stuck in a role. I want to give myself time to breathe, elevate, and learn. And if you give yourself time to learn the material, you give yourself time to apply. Don't think you need to get a job in a month like me. You got to understand that I was 26 years old and I'm 27 now. I was, I just, at that point, I had blew a lot of opportunities and there was no more opportunities for me to blow. So I really needed to lock in, and it was life or death for me. So if you make it a life or death, you can get a job in a month. But if you don't get a job in a month, it's not the end of the world. Everybody has their own path. So just don't get burnt out, and please keep learning.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Thank you for that. That is all the questions I have. Thank you for sharing your story. I'm sure the viewers are going to love the story. Yeah, thank you for joining me
Yeah.
and taking the
Thank you
time.
so much, James. I really appreciate you, talking with me. I was looking at your channel. It's awesome. So,
Thank you.
I
You too,
hope that
man.
anybody that checks this out, and I also have my own YouTube channel,
Yep.
and you can put that in
Yep.
the bio.
Absolutely.
They
That'll
can
be in the
check
link in
me out.
description.
Perfect, perfect. So, yeah, thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a good one.
Yeah. Thank you very much. If you want to follow in Nemesio's footsteps by going through the Course Careers IT course, I've included a link down below where you can do so. If you sign up, you can go ahead and get a free module that tells you a little bit about IT Help Desk and what to expect in the course, so you can decide if that's actually something you want to do. So go ahead and click the link below to start the introductory course. With that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed his story and his interview, and let me know in the comments down below if you're interested in the same path that he is. Thank you guys for watching. This is James E Tech, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.